Okay, these last couple of videos I've been making about King Arthur versus All Trumps flour, King Arthur bread flour specifically, and the benefits of All Trumps flour. Basically, All Trumps flour is more flavorful than King Arthur bread flour. You don't need to use any sugar in All Trumps flour. It it just rises better. It has has better flavor. It has a more golden dark color to the rim without using sugar, and it's just really good. Even my stock recipe, an overnight cold ferment with All Trumps, tastes better than a 2-night cold ferment with King Arthur. It's not even close, actually. It's just it's what you want for New York pizza. I was really surprised to see how much of a difference All Trumps flour made than bread flour. So I think these are my last experiments for a while comparing the two. For this experiment, it's actually twofold. Something I noticed the other day, or it reminded me of it rather, was when I was making dough with All Trumps flour. The All Trumps flour absorbs water a lot differently than the King Arthur bread flour. It just like it's a lot more sticky. Like you don't need as much water. You don't need such a high hydration with All Trumps as you do with the King Arthur flour. So the other day I used 65% hydration with both flours, and the All Trumps flour was really sticky and stretchy. When I was shaping it, it's just really stretchy and soft. Yet when I was mixing the King Arthur flour at 65%, it just balled right up and it was dense and not nearly as stretchy when I was shaping the dough into the crust. And I knew that. That's what I learned that like early on when I first bought the All Trumps, and I just remembered about it. So then I started thinking, what, like how to equalize the two. If I want a higher hydration, like if I want King Arthur bread flour to react like All Trumps flour, what hydration do I need? So I took a shot in the dark and I made King Arthur dough with 69% hydration, which is really high. And then for the All Trumps flour, I made it with 61.5% hydration. And you know what? They were almost identical. I think, well, when I was mixing it, like when it came out of the mixer, the dough for the King Arthur flour was just a tiny bit more sticky than the All Trumps, but not much. If I did 69%, maybe 68% is what I would do next time. I would say that 68% is probably very comparable to 61.5% All Trumps. That's a pretty big difference. I don't know what it is, but the King Arthur bread flour just absorbs the water so much more or something, or just differently. And so if you want it to be really soft, flexible dough, like I personally like, you've got to add a lot of extra water to King Arthur bread flour, or any bread flour for that purpose, I'm pretty sure. So they came out of the oven. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to do another experiment at the same time with these two dough balls. I did not add sugar to either of them because my last video I talked about how you don't need to add sugar at all to All Trumps. You just don't. It gets the color in the rim and it has the flavor without adding sugar. But I learned several months ago you have to add sugar with King Arthur bread flour, at least for the shorter ferments. So I wanted to verify and double check this. So I didn't add any sugar at all to either of them. And take a look. The pizza on the right was made with All Trumps at 61.5% hydration. And the one on the left was made with King Arthur flour, 69% hydration. Neither of these had sugar in them. Also want to point out that these two were cooked the same amount of time, just over 4 minutes. And clearly the All Trumps crust looks different. But you can tell they were baked the same amount because of the cheese. There's like 1 or 2 little brown burr marks on the All Trumps pie, and then likewise 1 or 2 little marks on the King Arthur pie. This just goes to show how important sugar is for King Arthur flour, but not for All Trumps. Okay, I just took a bite of each, and it's very apparent the King Arthur flour just does not have as much flavor as All Trumps. It's just more bland. All Trumps has more flavor and is sweeter and has a better aftertaste. I'm actually really truly amazed at how good the All Trumps flour is. I mean, look at that. You don't need to use sugar in it, and it still performs tremendously, still gets the great color, still tastes so good. So I'm pretty amazed with All Trumps. Very impressed. So there you have it. I'm just flatly amazed by All Trumps flour. It it's easier to use, to utilize. You don't need to use sugar, and from previous experimentations, you don't even really need oil that much. Oil doesn't enhance the dough all that much, just a tiny bit. Whereas with bread flour, you really have to use oil, or else it just tears on you. It's not strong enough. So you got that. I can't really articulate how much or like how different the All Trumps flour is, like spongy and chewy and crispy at the same time. It's just amazing. It just is. It feels soft like a sponge when you push the rim. You chew it, you get a crisp, and then you start chewing it more, and it's like chewy. It's just a perfect texture. It's what you find in New York. You know, it's not surprising. That's why half the pizzerias in New York using All Trumps. So that's experiment. That's going to be my last experiment with All Trumps and bread flour probably for a long time. I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on the differences and how to utilize the two flours differently. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. Thanks for watching.